welcome to this tutorial on how to build a listing app without code in under 10 minutes. Before we start, I'll show you how this app will look like. We will have a listing tab to show all the listed items as well as the individual listing page, a post tab to show the user's existing listing, and the post new listing, and a profile tab to edit and show users information. In this video, I'll build a car listing app using a tool called Adalo. Adalo is a platform to create apps without code. It is actually a great tool for anyone who wants to build a mobile app, especially if you are a person with little to no coding knowledge. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to build a database, create screens using different Adalo components, and have a working app all in under 10 minutes. To start, we simply log into Adalo and select native mobile app. There are several templates here, but for this tutorial, we'll build our app from scratch. Over here, we'll put in the name of our app and set our brand colors. Adalo will then use these two colors as the default color for the components in our app, and we'll still be able to customize the individual colors of each component later on, but setting these colors up front will help us to stay consistent with our branding. And once we're done with this, we can start creating. As you can see here, Adalo will always provide us with a sign up, login, and home screen. And now we can set up the database. By default, we'll have a user database created by Adalo over here, and we can always add in additional property into the database based on our preference. And since this is a car listing app, we will need a car database to store the car information that we want. So in this example, I'll put in several properties like name, description, location, price, image, and a relationship with the user database. For this relationship with user, we want this relationship to be a car ownership relationship. So in this case, a user can own many cars and a car can only belong to one user. Thus, we will pick the first relationship over here. So every time when we create a relationship, a corresponding property will be created in the related database too. So we want to make sure that we always name these properties properly so we don't get confused later on. Now that we have created our database, we can start working on our home screen. Normally, I would start by adding in the tab bar since I've already pre-planned the structure of my app. And since I only want 3 tabs, I'll turn off the 4th and the 5th tab. I'll then change the icons and text of each of these tabs. Next, I'll simply put in a title. What I'm using here is called the magic text, and it allows me to show the data from our database. In this case, this title will show the total amount of cars we have in our app. Then, we want to put in a list component to show our car listing. The component that I'll be using is a custom list, and the custom list allows us to customize the layout and the content of the list however we want. I want to show an image, the name, price, and location of the car. To customize the list, we will do all our changes in the first box. When we want to add a new component into the list, make sure that we drag it into the first box, and if we see the component showing up in the following box too, then we know that the component is in the list. And to copy an existing component, we can use the usual shortcut keys or hold on to the alternate key if you're on Windows or the option key if you're on Mac and drag the component to the position that we want. Once we are done with the layout, we need to tell Adalo which database this list belongs to. And then we can set all the components in this list to show the data of the database. In the next step, we will create the individual listing page, and for that, we will need a new screen. In Adalo, there are two ways to add a new screen. One way to do it is by clicking on the component that we want to add a link to, then add an action to link it to a new screen. I can then choose the layout that I want and start working on the next screen. Whenever we link our screen, the data from the prior screen will be passed into the next screen as well. Then, we can use this data to build our next screen. I'm just going to keep this screen simple by changing the apps bar title to the name of the car, showing the image, description, price, owner's name, and a contact button, which will send an email to the owner when it is clicked. The way we trigger the email action is to link the button to a website and add a mail to magic text of the owner's email into the website URL. Next, I'm showing you the other way of adding a new screen. In this screen, we will have a list of cars that are posted by the login user and a button to post new cars. I'll first copy over the tab bar from our home page, change the active tab to the second tab, give this screen a title, and then add in a list component. The list that we will be using this time is a card list, and the difference of this list with the custom list we previously used is that we won't be able to tweak much of the design or layout. Same thing, we need to specify the database that this list belongs to, but this time we need to filter this list because we only want to show the cars that are posted by the login user. Here, we also want to add in an action button to link us to the create listing page. This part is going to be very simple as all we need is a form screen to get the job done. Once we created a screen, we need to specify which database this form belongs to and set the form to create a new car. Then, we are free to tweak the fields of the form. Notice that the login user will be set as the owner automatically when the car is created. Also, to make it user-friendly, we want to check to make sure that the submit button will create a new car, then link us back to the previous screen. In this part, we will create our profile screen. Again, this will be very simple because we are just going to use the form screen to do it. I'll set the form to refer to the user database and make it update the login user. Then, I'll remove the link back function from the submit button since this profile screen will be one of our three main tabs, so I don't want it to link back to a previous screen. And lastly, I'll copy over the tab bar, change the active screen, and remove the left icon from the app bar. So now that we are done building every screen, it is always a good idea to preview the app and check for any defects. Since I've not linked up all our tab bars earlier, I'm gonna do it all at once now. One thing that I want to emphasize here is that when we link our tab bars, we want to make sure that we set the transition to none so it will look seamless when we go from one tab to the other. Alright, let's preview our app and play around with it to make sure it functions properly. I'm going to create a new listing here and see if it shows up. And that is how you can build a listing app without coding. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you like this video, and I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or want me to work on any other kind of apps in my upcoming videos, please comment down below and I'll do my best to fulfill your requests. Thank you guys. See you next time.